Welcome to this Tuesday reflection on July the 28th. I was in a Zoom conversation earlier today when someone suggested that as the lockdown eases and church buildings begin to open, church goers can be divided into two groups. Those who can't wait for things to go back to how they were before the lockdown was imposed, and those who are determined that they're never going back simply to how it was. I don't know where you would fit into those categories or what your response is to that proposition that my colleague offered. I guess we could have sympathy with both points of view. The traditions of the church go back centuries and have nurtured, consoled and strengthened countless generations through all manner of joys and sorrows, celebrations and tragedies. The liturgies of the church, when done well and in ways that create space for the Spirit to move, still have the power to speak to and engage the heart and soul. The acute sense of isolation that people have felt being forced to stay in their own homes have created a desperate need to reconnect with other human beings and to enjoy once again being part of the church community where they belong and are valued. In that sense, we could rejoice and look forward to things going back to how they once were. And yet, there's another sense amongst many of us that the church has been missing something and that it would be a mistake simply to return to the pattern of church life as it was until the end of March. Laity and clergy alike have discovered new ways of being church. Simple things like ringing round all the members of the congregation and having meaningful and sometimes quite deep conversations with them that never happened when everyone was able to gather together. I've been surprised myself at the length and depth of telephone conversations that I've had with clergy across the diocese, far more engaging and real than anything that might have been shared over coffee at the back of church on a Sunday morning. Those opportunities for really connecting with one another must be amongst the things that we continue and make time for. For that, more than anything else, is how we love and care for one another, as well as build community. But I think my hope is that as we move forward as a diocese over the next 6 to 12 months, we'll reflect together not on what we should be doing, but on who we are and what God is inviting us to be. There's a lot of work to be done in the autumn as we continue to clarify our structures, attend to our finances and governance, and work together on our vision for the Diocese of Monmouth. Many of us are going to be very busy indeed, and it's all important stuff. But the danger is that we'll lose sight of who we are in all the busyness, and fall into the trap of thinking that our call is about being busy for God and His church. What we need, alongside all the work that needs to be done, is some time to reconnect with who we are as the people of God and what that means for our world. Our call to be the body of Christ is unique and distinctive, and must be at the heart of our life together. Human beings, rather than human doings, is part of it. But it's more than that. It's about being Christ in and for the world, about living out of His redeeming and reconciling love, about remembering always that the church and its mission is not about us, but about God. If we get that right, or at least seek to have it at the heart of everything we do, then we'll draw others to the love of Christ simply by being who he has called us to be. We have an opportunity, not just because of the virus and the impact it's had on the church, but also because we're still at the beginning of a new chapter in the life of the diocese. And this is the time to discern and connect with God's vision for his church and his world that he invites us to be part of. Please do pray with me that we'll be humble enough to allow God to shape us and fashion us, so that each day, individually and together, we may become more and more Christ-like, reflecting his image in a desperately needy world.